Welcome back. I'm Tia Turnbull, your champion of champions. This is Keep It 100, and today you're learning WIPT, the 4 ways we drain energy in a conversation with someone. So WIPT is an acronym, and there are 4 things that someone can do that drains your energy. Have you ever met someone within the first 60 seconds, you just feel smaller, like you have less energy inside you, and you just feel like you need to go away to pick yourself back up again? And then you meet someone else, and in that same 60 seconds, you feel uplifted, you feel stronger, you feel good about yourself. You feel like, hey, you want to be my friend? You've never even seen them before. And then 6 months later, you notice that first person who your energy felt drained with. You notice them. You don't even remember where you met them before, but you remember how you felt when you were with them. So you're in the grocery store and you kind of peek around the corner and you decide to go the other way. And then that second person who uplifted your energy and made you feel good, you see them in the grocery store and you don't remember where you met them, but you walk right up and say, hey, you're familiar to me. Where have we met before? I know you from somewhere. You want to connect with the person who uplifted your energy. You want to move away from the person who you felt drained with. And this can be anywhere. It could be in your family. It could be with your spouse, any of your relationships, or it could be a business, like a grocery store that you go into, or a place that you get your hair done, or any place you go frequently. In a place where you feel drained, you're not going to want to go back. In a place where you feel lifted, you're going to actually feel magnetically attracted to go back to that place, or to introduce yourself to that person, or to go back and have more communication with them because you remember how you felt. And I think there's actually a quote that says, we don't remember much what people said, but we remember how they made us feel. Another quote is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So how you make a person feel is really important. And these 4 ways are the 4 ways that we drain people's energy. In the next video, I'm going to show you the 4 ways we lift people's energy. Now, I studied this about 20 years ago, and I have found that there's nothing someone can do that drains the energy out of a person that doesn't fit into one of these 4 categories. So the first category is wrong. So when you make someone wrong, when you say, oh, I don't like your shirt, or why do you feel that way, or you shouldn't think that, or you shouldn't do that. So you're pointing out something wrong about them. That is draining to their energy. And the second one is ignore. You know when you're talking with someone and they're looking at their watch and they're looking around and you can tell they're just not really listening to what you're saying, that they're ignoring what you're saying. You kind of feel like, well, should I even keep talking here? Hello, are you even interested in what I'm saying? And so you don't feel uplifted. Whereas when someone's really listening to you, you feel like they're giving you the energy to continue. You feel like they're with you. There's another thing in ignore. When you're ignoring something in a relationship and you're not talking about it, and you have this wall between you because you feel like there's this thing that's going on, but you don't feel like you can talk about it, and that can drain the energy out of a relationship. So instead of ignoring something that's up for you in a relationship, you want to be in a relationship with someone you feel like you can trust to give them the benefit of the doubt and come to them with what it is you feel like you need to talk about. So let's say the person you're in a relationship with is always picking their nose and you hate it. But you never want to say anything about it because you don't want to make them wrong and you don't want to bring up something that could be a touchy subject. But if you don't bring it up, then you've got this thing between you and them that they're not even aware of. So if you give them the benefit of the doubt, you can, if you don't talk about it, one night you're sitting there at dinner and they pick their nose and you go, I'm leaving. And they're like, what? Why? They don't even know. So if you go to them and you say, I really love you, but I need you to know that I really don't like it when you pick your nose. And they say, oh, I thought you thought it was cute when I pick my nose. I can stop doing that, no problem. Or they might say, I picked my nose since I was 3, and it's just something that I do, and it's who I am, and if you don't like it, well, you can just deal with it. Well, at least you've already talked about it, and you know what their opinion is, and what they're going to do, whether they're going to stop or whether they're out of their love for you or whether they're going to continue doing it because it's just that important to them. And then the ball's back in your court, and then you can decide, look, I see that this is something that's going to continue. Now, do I want to stay with this or not? Or it's been resolved and they're going to change their behavior and you move on. So that's ignore. Okay, so the next one is poor me. And poor me is that victim mindset where someone's always, oh, poor me. You know, you can do something nice for them. You can buy them some flowers. And they look at the flowers and in their mind they say, oh, these flowers remind me of my dead grandmother. How can you be so insensitive? So with this kind of a person, you kind of can't win because no matter what they're looking at, they're always looking at it with this filter of I'm a victim, so whatever someone does is going to hurt me. There's always something happening that I get hurt by. Okay, and then threat. And threat, of course, is the most violent energy, the most violent energy drain. And a threat could be something very violent, like, I'm going to beat you up, you know, physical threat. Or it could be you're working somewhere and someone says, pardon me, but if you don't get that typed by 4, you're fired. You know, it could be said very nicely, but there's a threat in there. If you don't this, then that. And so that's threat. So these are the 4 ways that people drain each other's energy in a relationship. And you can see these. You can actually see these even like you're at dinner somewhere and someone's way across the room and you can tell if somebody's kind of in the victim energy and somebody else is in the threatening energy or somebody's in the wrong energy or someone's in the ignore energy. You can see it without even talking. You can see it in someone's body language. So what's interesting about this is not just what we do to other people. This is what we do to ourselves. And this is really, really important because if you are wronging yourself, ignoring yourself, poor meing yourself, or threatening yourself, then you're already living in a drained energy state. So if you're doing that, you're going to be looking through filters of other people playing this game with you because these have partners, right? So wrong and ignore are partners because if somebody's making you wrong, you're going to want to ignore them. And if someone's ignoring them, you're going to point out things that are wrong with them. So these partner each other. And then poor me and threat are partners because if somebody's threatening you and you don't have the power to fight them, you're going to appeal to their mercy. Oh, please don't hurt poor little me. And then if somebody's a victim, then threatening people will or even dogs or anything you're scared of, you attract that. Your fear attracts predators. So it's like when a dog runs out and wants to be petted and you go, ah, and start to run, the dog will get aggressive and come after you. But if a dog comes after you aggressive and you go, oh, hi, puppy, a lot of times they might stop and go and let themselves be petted. So it's like what I was talking about in the video where I said you are half the equation for what outcome happens. So, and I'm going to talk about that more in the 6 entities also. But so if you're noticing that a lot of people are making you wrong, ask yourself if you're ignoring. And if you're noticing that a lot of people are showing up threatening to you, ask if you're being a poor me or vice versa. Just notice what comes into your space a lot. And then you can begin to say, well, am I doing this? Am I being a cause for all these particular kinds of people to be interacting with me in a certain way? And you might find that you are, or you could just, well, let me look. If I'm making people wrong, and so they're ignoring me, maybe I could curb that. I could start making people right and see what changes happen and see how people start to treat me differently because of the way I'm treating them differently. Okay, so this is WIPT, wrong, ignore, poor me, and threat. All right, and next we're going to be doing RAX, which is the opposite of WIPT. This is Tia Turnbull, your champion of champions. This is Keep It 100. If you'd like to see more of these videos, please hit the like, subscribe, and tap the bell. And I'll see you on the next one. Until then, champion yourself to be a champion.